Hi everyone, so I'm here with our supervisor Adam. So we're going to be doing a little interview tonight on finding out a little bit about him, seeing where he comes from, seeing what he's been up to, and we'll get started. So hi Adam, nice to speak to you.
Hi Jess, thank you for having me.
No problem. So what have you been up to with no basketball?
I've been actually really fortunate that my work wasn't closed. I had a little bit of time off just while everything was going crazy, but yeah, still working and behind the chair a few days a week. So I'm really lucky to still be able to have work to go to. So that's taking a lot of the burden off, sort of trying to fill the time.
Being bored at home like the rest of us.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. So how long have you been reffing and what was your journey to becoming a leader in the Knox branch?
So I started reffing in 2009, which feels like ages ago now. I started because Brad asked me if I was interested, and I at first was a bit hesitant, and then after a little bit of convincing and him telling me that it was good pocket money, I got started, and yeah, it took me a fair journey to get to where I am, but I very much enjoyed the challenge of trying to do the best job you can, and enjoyed the environment that was created at Knox, and made a lot of really good friends, and that's sort of what kept me going a lot of the time.
Yeah, it was really funny, like being in my shoes. Like I left you on the court as like a C grade or a B grade, and I come back and I think you guys were the first game I refed back. You were Tune Squad, is that what your name was?
Yeah.
That's one of the first games.
Night.
And I was like, oh my god, look at how old you all are now. I just like the journey of like not seeing you guys for so long, and then you know all these amazing referees now, and I was like, oh, they had green shirts on when I left, so it was really cool to see where you guys and see your progress as well. So that was really cool. So you started doing junior panel.
Yeah, so my first year of junior panel was 2013. So that was when I was in year 12. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a really cool experience. So we both Megan and I got our A grades together in 2011, but we didn't quite meet the requirements for junior panel in 2012, and we had to take another 12 months before we um, were allowed onto the panel. But I think that extra year really did us good, and I was really prepared for what was sort of ahead in junior panel. Reffing with a lot of new faces and at different places, and things that you've never done before, and unfamiliar surroundings can be quite daunting. But I think having that extra year of experience under my belt really helped me sort of be prepared to take on those challenges.
Yeah, it is. It is a big jump from being domestic, even doing under 20s, 23s, and then jumping to that next level because you're in, like you said, different environment, a whole different like people around you. You don't know what spectators you got to look out for, anything like that. So it is
even just the like sort of general feel of the court, I found really strange. So reffing, places like Nunawading or even at Ringwood when the baseline's really narrow and
you're
stuff
like, oh god,
yeah, stuff like that. It sort of can knock you around a little bit. So you just sort of got to get used to reffing at a lot of different places.
Yeah, exactly. So now that you are a supervisor and you have taken on that role, I suppose what would be your biggest challenge and then advice that you would give to someone that is aspiring to be in your position?
I think my situation is a little bit different to everyone else's, sort of having experienced what I have in the past sort of 18 months. I think the thing that I would say to a lot of people is that one, it's important to hold yourself to a really high standard in terms of behavior, in terms of being a role model, being a leader by example, and that stuff is really, really important. But also not to put so much pressure on yourself all the time that you feel the need to do everything all the time that's asked of you. So don't try to overcommit yourself to things that you feel like you're uncomfortable doing. Obviously, say yes to taking opportunities, but don't try and overstretch yourself to things that you're not going to be able to fulfill the roles of. I think that that's something that I've really learned over the journey that's really important.
And I suppose, like, you can speak from experience, that extra year that you got from junior panel has allowed you to be a better referee on the panel when you got there. When you look at it that then and there, it sometimes is a bit daunting to say, oh my God, I've got to wait another year. But, what you've said before about, having that, better experience under your belt and then, flourishing in that panel or whatever it may be you're trying to achieve, it's really good advice for everybody. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you want to achieve moving forward as a referee? What's your ambitions?
I've been really lucky to have a lot of opportunities that I've been able to sort of hit a lot of the things that I wanted to do. I think for me, my focus now is turning to look back at the things that keep me going for refereeing and why I want to keep coming back. So that's, building really strong friendships, building an environment that's fun, that people want to come and enjoy themselves, and to continue to referee at a really high level, whether that be on leagues or on domestic.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. So one from me that might be a little bit different from all the questions that other people are getting. So just trying to spin a little bit of rule knowledge in. So what do you reckon is your trickiest rule that you had to learn? So everybody knows now that I can't signal 16, but Heath has offered to help me with my signalling. So I'm going to hold him to that. But what would be your trickiest rule that you would like everybody to know so that they can learn from you?
I think one thing that a lot of, not just myself, but a lot of people will struggle to understand is any of the correctable error situations, and they can be quite daunting. So you look up at the scoreboard and you go, we should have had free throws down the other end on that foul shot we just called, and you and your partner come together and you're looking at each other and you're going, oh, I don't know what to do, and you're just hoping that someone makes a decision. But those situations are the ones that you really need to have a strong rule knowledge base, because if you start to look confused and get flustered, then that can have a whole range of effects for the perception of your abilities. Even though it might just be one really obscure situation, if you let it fluster you and then you make a couple of errors around it, it can sort of really have a negative effect on the game. But those situations, like not administering free throws or administering the wrong set of free throws or having the wrong shooter at the line, that's all stuff that's really important to know what to do if you do make a mistake and how to go back and fix it.
Perfect. Do you know what the sequence of events are to tell the guys at the moment as to when you can correct an error, or should I get my little trusty rule book and read it out?
The thing to know is about when the ball becomes live, then dead, and it can't become live again before going back to correct the error.
Perfect.
And the one that stumped us a couple of seasons ago was that we missed a set of free throws that we should have administered, and we realised after the team that was supposed to get the free throws had passed the ball in, they'd scored, and then we stopped the game to go, shit, that should have been free throws. But because they scored, we don't have to go back and correct it because they got the 2 points anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a whole heap of that special situations that come into play. So that's really great advice for everybody. So thank you for sharing your trickiest one. And just before we head off, what's your message to the members during this tough time?
Just keep doing all the right things. Reach out to all your mates that you would, be seeing at basketball, and make sure you check in on the people around you, not only just for them but for yourself as well. So we're all missing each other and missing the social impact of basketball. I know that I've sort of messaged a lot of people just to catch up and see how people are going, and that's the one thing that I'm really missing is all the social interaction, and that's probably the toughest thing.
Yeah, we're a pretty close bunch, aren't we? Well, thank you for your time,
Absolutely.
and I really appreciate all your answers, and can't wait for the members to see what you've got to say. So thank you and good night.
No worries, Jess. Thank you.